from? I just point to the logo on my chest and tell them, Slam Ego, Slam Ego, Slam Ego, Slam Hey, hit it up hard, hit it with strike. From the national anthem to the bottom of the night. I'm in Slam Ego, Slam Ego, Slam Ego, Slam Hey, you already know what's up. What's that? Another home run. But you know the job ain't done till we hold that trophy up. Hey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 328 of the Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show. Ben Fadden here with you. So the Colorado Rockies owner, his name is Dick Monfort, and he sounds really, really stupid right now. Over the weekend at some speaking event, according to the Denver Post's Patrick Saunders, he told his fans that he was okay with being mediocre, essentially. Quote, I think we can play 500 ball, end quote. And that was not it. He then criticized the Padres for the roster construction, the amounts of money that Peter Seidler is spending. Yeah, the Colorado Rockies owner is doing this. Doesn't make sense. Looks like an idiot. Sounds like an idiot. Sounds stupid. His own fans think he's stupid. Padres fans think he's stupid because he does sound stupid right now. I mean, that's just what it is. And this is what is holding back the game of baseball. Owners that don't care about winning a World Series, they view this as a business and they just want profit. So, however mediocre the team is, doesn't matter to them. As long as they get profit, that's all that matters to them. So, let's first dissect the first quote. I think we can play 500 ball. Rockies owner Dick Monfort. So, that is a bad look. Imagine if Peter Seidler, even like in 2017, or Ron Fowler, 2017, 2018, when the Padres, they're clearly rebuilding. They're not this amazing team that they are right now, right? They don't have Juan Soto, Tatis, Manny, Bogarts, right? They don't have all of those players. Hader, Suarez, Darvish, Snell, Musgrove. They don't have all that talent, right? Say it's 2017, 2018, and Padres owner goes out there and says, yeah, I think we can be a 500 team. I think we can play 500 ball. We would be pissed off, right? Imagine if that happened. We would be pissed off. That's what the Rockies owner just did. He's okay with being mediocre. And he expects to sell a bunch of tickets for a team that he admits that is going to be a not good team this year. It sucks for Rockies fans. I feel bad for him to have the leader of your franchise be fine with not being a championship caliber team. Now, moving to the Padres comments, because he said a lot about the Padres for some reason. He said, quote, the Padres spending, quote, puts a lot of pressure on us, but it's not just the Padres, it's the Mets, it's the Phillies. This has been an interesting year. Yeah, the Padres spending money because they're trying to win. The Mets spending money because they're trying to win. The Phillies spending money because they're trying to win. That puts a lot of pressure on teams like the Rockies who aren't spending a lot of money trying to win. Why? Because the fan base is going to sit there and say, well, look, this is what it takes to be a championship caliber team, or at least increase your chances of being a championship caliber team. I know the Tampa Bay Rays, they can spend money and they'll be a postseason team or make the World Series like they did in 2020. But that was a short year, right? Or make the ALCS. That can happen, be in the ALDS year in, year out sometimes. Like that can happen with teams that don't spend a bunch of money. But you got to realize the Rockies owner, Dick Monfort, he has to realize that he's not the Tampa Bay Rays. He doesn't have the great minds that the Tampa Bay Rays have, right? He doesn't have Eric Neander and all this scouting and development people, right? He has some in the front office, but they're obviously not as good as the Tampa Bay Rays are, right? They're just not. And he has to realize that he's not playing in Tampa Bay. His team is in Denver, who has a good fan base. I mean, they attract a lot of fans to that ballpark. It's probably one of the better ballparks in baseball. Maybe that's a reason why. But I mean, whenever they're playing the Padres on TV, it seems like, weekends, there's a good amount of people there, despite the Rockies sucking. So the fan base is right to be pissed off at you and right to say, hey, look at other big market teams. I would say Denver's a big market. Look at other big market teams. Not as big as New York, but is San Diego as big as New York? Media market and all that? No. Look at those teams. Look at those cities. They're spending a bunch of money. Why are you sitting on your butt and not doing anything? Right? So that was one quote. And here's another one. What the Padres are doing, I don't 100% agree with, though I know that our fans probably agree with it. I wonder why your fans probably agree with how the Padres are going about things, Dick Monfort. Because the Padres are trying to win. Because the Padres have Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr., Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, Jake Cronenworth, Josh Hader, Robert Suarez, Nick Martinez, Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove. The Padres have all of those players, all of that talent. And I know a lot of those players are from trades, but they have some of that talent. Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, Robert Suarez, Nick Martinez. Some of that talent, that really impact talent that helped the Padres get to the NLCS this past year, was because the owner, Peter Seidler, ownership, front office, was willing to invest the money needed to bring these guys in or keep these guys, to keep this championship team intact and to build this championship caliber team, right? The Rockies owner, I don't agree with, I don't 100% agree with the Padres. There are fans will agree with it. Well, maybe you should follow the fans. I know maybe it's not always smart to follow what the fans think because fans are emotional, right? But maybe this time around you should follow the fans. Why do the fans? Ask this question to yourself, Dick Monfort. Ask yourself, okay, why do my fans probably agree with the way a NL West rival is spending money? Why do my fans agree with the way the Padres are going about things? Maybe because they care about winning. That front office cares about winning. That ownership cares about winning, and you don't. So that's on you. Rockies fans, I feel for you. Definitely feel for you. He also says, I look at the Padres and they have a really talented team, but they have some holes too. Dick Monfort, you are the last person to be talking about holes. Okay? Do the Padres have some holes? All right. Catching situation could probably be a little bit stronger. Back of the rotation, 4, 5 starters could probably be a little bit stronger. Having a maybe better starting left fielder for opening day or starting right fielder if Soto's going to be in left field while Tatis is suspended. Maybe you want that. So, yeah, you could say there's some holes on the Padres. But for the Colorado Rockies owner to say that he doesn't agree with the way the Padres are going about things, 100%, and mentions the Padres have some holes too. He says they've got 3, maybe 4 starting pitchers, and then they're sort of like us. Okay, I could buy the 3, 4 starting pitchers thing. But then to say, well, then they're sort of like us. No, no, no. The Padres are not sort of like you. Let's look at the difference here between the Padres and the Rockies. The Padres payroll, luxury tax payroll, as of now, it's a little over $270 million. Let's look at the Colorado Rockies payroll, shall we? It is not anywhere near $270 million. Any guesses to what the payroll is? Luxury tax. Think of that in your head. It's 186.8 mil, a little over that. That is a huge difference. Huge difference. So around 270 mil for the Padres, around 162 mil for the Rockies, or excuse me, 186 mil for the Rockies. This guy's the last person to be talking about holes on a team. The last person to be talking about holes on a World Series contending team, by the way. Let's look at the Rockies roster compared to the Padres roster, shall we? We know the Padres. What's their infield? Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, Ha-Sung Kim, Jake Cronenworth. What's the Rockies infield? Third base, Nolan Arenado. Oh, wait. No. This is the owner that traded away Nolan Arenado, a Hall of Fame third baseman, the face of the franchise, for nothing. Austin Gomber and some guys I've never heard of. Oh, and he gave $51 million to the Cardinals to take on Nolan Arenado's contract. Like it was Albert Pujols, his Angels contract or something. No, it's Nolan Arenado in his prime. Nah, take him, St. Louis. Here you go. This is the guy that didn't trade Trevor Story when he knew Trevor Story wasn't going to come back. Why would he want to be with the Rockies when you're not trying to win? You're okay with being a 500 team. You said it literally to fans this past weekend. Let's look at the Rockies' actual infield. So I said Arenado, but he's obviously not on the team anymore. Ryan McMahon. All right, solid. Guess who's better? Manny Machado. Shortstop. Ezekiel Tovar. All right. Guess who's better? Xander Bogaerts. I would say that's a hole, right? Rockies, hole at shortstop. If you're comparing it to the Padres, definitely. Second base. Brendan Rodgers. All right. Ha-Sung Kim, Brandon Rodgers. Maybe that's comparable. Ha-Sung Kim's better defensively. First base. CJ Cron. All right. He's more of a typical first base type, right? So, 27 home runs he's projected in 2023. But Jake Cronenworth, back-to-back All-Star appearances. Let's look at the Rockies outfield. Chris Bryant in left field. He was their big free agent signing last offseason. Oh, by the way, what's their biggest free agent signing this winter? Pierce Johnson. No disrespect to Pierce Johnson. Played a key role for the Padres, but he's not Josh Hader. He's not Robert Suarez. He's not Nick Martinez, right? Pierce Johnson. Jose Arena. Like, those are the guys that this guy's bringing in. Center field. Jonathan Daza. All right. Sometimes he torches the Padres, but 5 home runs projected in 2023. We have Trent Grisham. I'll take Trent Grisham. Seems like that's a hole in center field right there for the Rockies compared to the Padres. And Chris Bryant against Juan Soto, stop. That's a hole in left field. And Chris Bryant hasn't been able to stay healthy. Look at right field. Randall Grichuk. You want Randall Grichuk or Fernando Tatis Jr.? Obviously, I'm going off of when Tatis comes back from the suspension. I'd say that's a hole in right field if you compare it to the Padres. DH, Charlie Blackmon. Yeah, does he torch the Padres? Yeah. But this guy's past his prime. He's 36. And I know the Padres, they're having, Matt Carpenter and Nelson Cruz. Those guys are probably past their prime as well. But that's not, Nelson Cruz, Matt Carpenter, that's not the face of the franchise, right? Charlie Blackmon, Chris Bryant, like those are faces of the franchise for the Rockies. This is the team that's being formed by the guy that's saying that the Padres have some holes too. This guy's the last person to be talking about holes on a roster. All right? Rotation. Herman Marquez, Kyle Freeland. Oh, Kyle Freeland, the guy that was smashing the dugout ceiling last year again when the Padres come and played the Rockies. That guy. Jose Urena. Austin Gomber. Oh, the big guy that they traded in the Nolan Arenado deal. Yeah, he's their 4-starter. Connor Seabold, their 5-starter. You want to throw that up against the Padres rotation? There's holes all over that Rockies rotation. If you want to compare it to the Padres, Darvish, Musgrove, Snell, Martinez, Lugo against Marquez, who's projected to have an ERA over 4.8 in 2023. Kyle Freeland projected to have a 5.44 ERA. Jose Urena projected to have a 5.62 ERA. Austin Gomber projected to have a 5.17 ERA. And Connor Seabold projected to have a 5.66 ERA. Seems like a lot of holes there, Mr. Dick Monfort. You want to look at the bullpen, Daniel Bard, Pierce Johnson. All right, that's pretty solid there. But then after that, Dinelson Lamet, oh, the guy that the Padres traded in that Josh Hader deal, and then the Brewers, I think, DFA'd him. All right, that's your seventh inning guy, setup guy. Lucas Gilbreth, Justin Lawrence, Brett Suter, Nick Mears, and Jake Bird. Wonder how many of you guys have heard of those players there. Padres bullpen, Josh Hader, Robert Suarez, Luis Garcia, Drew Pomeranz, Tim Hill, maybe Adrian Morejon, Nabil Chrismat. A lot of depth there, a lot of names, right? Yeah, that's the organization. That's the owner that is talking about the Padres' holes. They have some holes too. Well, every team in baseball has some holes, right? The Astros, there's probably something there that they would say, yeah, we'd like to improve that. The Mets, there's probably something there that they'd say, yeah, we'd like to improve that. Yankees, you could say they like to improve places, right? Yankee fans are pissed off about left field and having Josh Donaldson be at third base a little bit this year. So, yeah, this Rockies owner, he sounds stupid because he's talking about the Padres holes who have, in the last couple years, have formed almost a super team, right? Seems like a super team. They're spending a ton of money. They're not okay with being a mediocre 500 team under Peter Seidler, right? He doesn't view it as a window, right? The Rockies, they had a couple years there, and then once the Rockies said, we're not going to spend, we're not going to continue trying to improve this team. Nolan was like, yeah, trade me. I'm out of here. And the Rockies said, sure, we'll trade you. Get back a big haul. No, not a big haul. You get back Austin Gomber and some other names that I've never heard of. Let me look at this Nolan Arenado trade again. I want to just double check these names. So they gave the Cardinals $51 million along with a Hall of Fame third baseman. Said, here you go, take him. Cardinals gave the Rockies Austin Gomber, who's the Rockies' four-starter, Mateo Gil, never heard of the guy, Eleuris Montero, never heard of that guy, Tony Losi, never heard of that guy, and Jake Summers. I think I've heard of him, but not really. I'm not too familiar of him. Immediately when that trade happened, Cardinals grade A. Cardinals fleece the Rockies. That was the headline. And this guy's talking about holes. You've created holes. You had a Hall of Fame guy, and you created a hole there. Ryan McMahon, he's solid. He's not Nolan Arenado. He's not Manny Machado. All right? So, just these comments just don't make sense. Why is he calling out the Padres? Criticizing the Padres? Why? Like, this is the problem with Major League Baseball owners. There's some that care about winning, right? They don't view it just as a business. They say, hey, I'm trying to win here. The money will come if we try to win. I think Peter Seidler is going to be pretty good off this season, after this season, based on season ticket sales. There's going to be 150,000, or at least 150,000 tickets claimed for Fan Fest on Saturday. You think the Rockies are going to have that many at their Fan Fest if they even have one? No. Like, if you care about winning, the fans will show up. The money, the revenue will come in. And so there's Peter Seidler, there's Steve Cohen, there's Steinbrenner, right? There's some teams there that care about winning. Middleton with the Phillies, right? You throw those names out there, the Braves, the Blue Jays I'd put in there, probably Seattle now, Houston, right? There are teams. I'm probably forgetting some. There are teams out there with owners that care about winning. They want to win. But then there are other owners that cry poor, like the Reds or the Orioles owner or Dick Monfort, who criticize other markets, other teams' owners for spending money, for trying to win. You know, you have to spend money to win championships. I know that there are some teams that have drafted and developed really well, and made good trades, and they won the World Series. But there is not one team in baseball history, at least I don't think there is, that has not bought their team, right? Because they have to pay the players. And you want great talent on your team, you're going to have to pay for that talent, right? You're not going to have 26 prospects all come up at the same time and not pay them really anything and they go win a World Series. That's not going to happen. You're going to have some big names in there. So the Padres, they should be praised. And I think they are being praised. Don't get me wrong here. But this idiot owner is trying to criticize or is criticizing the Padres for doing the right thing, for being an organization that cares about the fans, that wants to win for the city instead of wanting to win for himself, the pocketbooks, his own pocketbooks, if that makes sense. I'm just in it to make money. This is a business. Just in it to make money. Don't care about the team. Just stupid. Really, really stupid. Dick Monfort also said they have spent a lot of money and they will have to spend a lot more if they want to keep Juan Soto. But it does put a lot of pressure on you. Yeah, it does. The Padres will have a lot of pressure on them this season. But pressure is a privilege. Would you rather have pressure on you because you have all this talent and you're trying to win, or have no pressure like the Rockies because you're not trying to win? And everyone in the baseball world is laughing at you. I think I'd rather have the pressure, right? I'd rather have the pressure. They have spent a lot of money and they will have to spend a lot more if they want to keep Juan Soto. No, duh. Thank you. Thanks, Sherlock. Yeah, you have to spend money to win championships. Do you want great talent? Do you want one of the best hitters of all time? Yeah, you're going to have to spend money. Sorry, you can't relate to that, right? You spent money on Nolan Arenado and said, nah, I don't want to pay him anymore. Can't pay him anymore. Can't afford him anymore. When you could afford him, but you didn't want to spend more money around him to make your team better around him, like the Padres have with Manny Machado. Instead, you wanted to say, nah, I can't build around you, Nolan. We're going to trade you and give the Cardinals $51 million along with that. And we're going to get back like no one in return. We're going to get back 4 players that we've never heard of. Austin Gomber, the biggest name in that deal. And we're going to have Jose Urena and Pierce Johnson as our biggest free agent signings this offseason. That's going to bring a lot of fans to the ballpark. No, it's not. I think we can play 500 ball, is what this owner said this past weekend. Way to shoot for the stars, dude. That's what's hurting the game. Owners that don't care. Imagine if we had owners in baseball, if we had every owner in baseball actually care about winning. Do you know how much more interesting that would make the baseball season? Who's going to win the division? Oh, I don't know. Because there's every team's trying. And I know you have to go through some rebuilds sometime, right? But the Rockies, you thought that this was their time to ascend, right? With Arenado in his prime, bringing him in on, having the extension signed with him, right? Bringing talent around him. Nah, we'll trade him. That's what's hurting baseball. Sure, it's great to have Arenado on the Cardinals and having Goldschmidt there and all that, but it's teams like that can't afford him. Yeah, you can't afford him. You just want to have a bigger profit, right? You don't care about winning as much as Peter Seidler or Steve Cohen does. That's the problem. So these owners that cry poor, don't believe them. Don't believe them. They have the money. Now, not everyone's Steve Cohen. I totally understand that. But Peter Seidler's not Steve Cohen, and he's spending a bunch of money because he cares about the city of San Diego. He cares about Padres fans, not just in San Diego, but across the world. He wants to bring them a championship. And the money will come. The money, the revenue, trust me, it will come if you build a winning team. If you show the fans that you're trying, they will come to the ballpark. They will buy tickets. They will buy merchandise. It will happen. Just look at the Padres model, Mr. Dick Monfort. Worry about your own team's holes. I think that's all I have to say. Enjoy last place, Colorado Rockies. I guess that's how I'll end it. Yeah. So just be thankful that we have Peter Seidler and not Dick Monfort as our owner. This episode is sponsored by Gaglione Bros famous cheesesteaks and garlic fries. Their main location is on Friars Road, and you can visit gaglionebros.com for their menu and contact information. You can also enjoy their cheesesteaks and fries at Petco Park and inside Snapdragon Stadium. All right, that'll do it. Episode 328 of Talking Friars. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll be back later in the week. We got Fan Fest on Saturday. See you later. Go Pods.